This Mongolian Mindset, and today we're going to be responding to another subscriber, Connor Tennis. Nice video, thank you. What about DeSantis? So today we're going to do Ron DeSanctimonious for you. We are still doing the free typing sessions. All you have to do is join our Facebook group and message our moderator, Cody, with your availability. And you guys know every time Mongolian Mindset drops a video, we send somebody to the psychiatric ward. We're just killing them. We're killing them. So go ahead and join our group. You're free to message me whatever you need or whatever you want. If you want my personal thoughts on anything, whether it be finances, whether it be lifting, whether it be typology, whether it be how can you improve, just message me, man. I don't really care. I'll get to you at a reasonable time, hopefully. But yeah, so Ron DeSantis. Okay, so personality database, the monkeys over there have Ron DeSantis as an ESTJ. Okay, so that's interesting. The chart has ESTJs as direct. They're initiating, their outcome. They are concrete. They're affiliative. They are TFI and SE. No, SINE. There you go. SINE. Okay. So we'll be looking at the metrics here, and we'll see if he is an ESTJ or not. Please subscribe to the channel. That helps us grow the channel. We are trying to take this group to the next level. Like I said, I want Mongolian Mindset to be in everybody's window. First, we're going to take over the typology group, and then we're going to branch into more mainstream things. Yes, we're going to take you guys on a roller coaster to the mainstream, and y'all are all coming along with us. So go ahead and subscribe, and comment below a celebrity you would like to type. We do have our mega live this Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern. We'll be talking about our goals that we accomplished the previous month and the goals we're accomplishing for the next month. Everybody's on the call. We talk about that, and we talk about any questions you have, typology or anything that you want to talk about during that time. It's more for the group and giving back to the group, because I love you guys and we love you guys. I know Shelly and Thomas and Cody aren't here, but from the moderators team and to me, we love you guys. So please do subscribe. So we have initiating. These are the metrics right here. So initiating versus responding. You got the extroverts versus the introverts. Initiating, these people change the subject. These people don't mind leading the conversation. These people, like, information travels to the front of their brain more. It's more centered towards the front. So they respond a lot quicker. They don't reflect. They're going to be more gregarious as a responding person. They're going to sit back, reflect, and then respond. The information travels to the back of their brain, and then that's what takes so long. Okay, so and that is from the neuroscience of personality. That's from Dario Nardi, and I think there's other sources out there that proves that introverts, the information travels to the back of their brain, as in extroverts, the information has a shorter route to get out. Okay, so you got abstract versus concrete. Abstract is all about the what ifs. It's all about philosophy, just things outside of the five senses. It's about predicting the future. That's all going to be in the abstract. And then you got the concrete. It's basically the what is. Staying pretty dry, not diving into anything outside of the five senses. Then you have systematic versus interest. Systematic people look at the best way to do something, or they're going to be implementing structures to get more control over their life. And interest, it's all about what a person gets out of a situation. These people like to haggle. They like to look at the motives behind people. They won't really be keying in on the motives. Then you have direct versus informative. Direct is specific, concise, and to the point. They like to tell people what to do, especially the extroverts. They choose their role in the conversation. They're choosing their roles. Informative is wordy, vague, beating around the bush. They don't choose their role in the conversation. They're taking a one-down role. They give you information and allow for you to make the decision. That's what informative is all about. They don't like telling people what to do. Then you got pragmatic versus affiliative. Pragmatic is all about individualistic. It's about a utilitarian mindset. It's about rebellious, contrarian, liking freedom, liking the ability to choose. And then you have affiliative. Affiliative is all about doing the right thing. It's about cooperation. It's about interdependence. It's all about the collective. It's about, yeah, we said doing the right thing. So then you have outcome versus progression. This is where does a person focus lies. There's a lot on the outcome, like the end product is everything just to get to the end product. Are they just hunting that down? Or are they looking at the progression? Are they enjoying the journey of life? Not more about the outcome. That's secondary. But progression, people enjoy the journey. So it flows like a wave, whereas outcome really doesn't flow like that. It's like screeching stops. But yeah. And you have SE and NI. SE is all about manipulating the environment. NI is what will happen. These people can transform themselves with their thinking. SE will be talking about what other people are doing, and they like memory totems, like items and stuff, or pictures and whatnot, to allow them to remember things, more short memory based. And you have SI. SI is all about the past and referencing that to a given point to make sure things line up together. These people are going to like to be more comfortable. They're going to like stability, that thing. And NE is all about the possibilities, just what's out there. Giving people choices. They love to give people choices. They talk about what people want. That's more the NE. NI is more about their passion, their path forward for them. And TEFI, TE is all about outside sources. So don't be referencing outside sources. They would like to organize the environment. They like to organize things. So it's going to be diving a little into the systematic a little bit, but not exactly. And then you have FI, which is what is important to this person. What are their values? What do they love? What are their passions? Okay. Then you have TI and FE, and that's essentially just understanding. TI is all about hunting the understanding of logical frameworks and applying them in a leverage way. FE is all about understanding people and their values and what they love and how they feel. Okay, so let's get into this. And guys, like we said, please subscribe. Please subscribe. We love subscribers. And comment below, man. Keep it growing. You are a Mongolian, so go ahead and join us.
Goes to die. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is both popular and controversial. He hasn't declared that he's running for president, but he's doing things presidential candidates do.
He's obviously running. We know that.
Recently, the governor sat down for an extended interview. I asked him what he'd do if he were president, and I asked him about some things he did in Florida. Here's our full interview. I'm not going to waste time asking if you're going to run for president. You're not going to tell me here. But I should point out that the betting odds say if you did and you got nominated, your chance of winning the presidency are better than Trump's, and you're likely to beat Biden.
Well, look, I mean, I think people will talk about this polls, that polls, primary polls.
The bettors are better than polls.
No, exactly. But I think the one thing that we have seen, and again, it's a long way off how much you want to put into it, but in all these swing states, I actually beat Biden. Georgia, Arizona, they had
this outcome.
Poll in Michigan, some of these states that are necessary to win the Electoral College. Those same polls have Biden beating Trump. So I think that's part of why you see some of those betting odds. But one thing I can say, because the polls are fine, election results are actually the most indicative. And in Florida, we came in 4.5 years ago, swing state, evenly divided. We win by 0.5%. And then after
this guy's all outcome.
4 years of good leadership, we were able to win by almost 20 points, 1.5 million votes. And
he's giving numbers. He's TEFI. It's TE numbers and outcome. We're going to close out outcome already. This guy's outcome focus. This guy's outcome. Ron DeSantis, you got outcome. So with that being said, he can only be a couple types based off that. He could only be ESTJ, ESTP, ENTJ, ENFJ, or ISFJ, ISFP, INTP, or INFP because he's outcome focused. All of the progression types are automatically killed. So personality database, you are still in the hunt right now.
And those are not just Republicans. I mean, we're happy that we've got a lot of Republicans that support us and we have got a strong base, but we're winning decisively amongst independents. We won 60%.
Numbers, TE numbers, and outcome.
Percent of Hispanics. And that's really, I think, the type of coalition that you need to build to be able to win nationally.
What caused that probably
Talking
was
about outcome
COVID.
again.
And you did a good job with COVID.
Well, but I think it's what's instructive about that is all those decisions I was making, I was pilloried for by the corporate press, by the left, by people in the administration, by bureaucrats, even by some Republicans, at the time were saying
Everybody
that I was
your
wrong.
case.
I was taking a lot of incoming.
The cases were exploding, and he decided to just sit back and do nothing.
We have officially entered Florida airspace. As Governor DeSantis stated, while you're within state lines, you do not have to wear a mask.
And so I just had to make the decision as a leader. Are you going to worry about kind of the daily news cycle? Are you going to worry about your personal popularity? Are you going to focus on protecting the jobs and freedoms of the people you represented? And so I resolved, I did not know how it was going to work out politically, but I was going to do what I thought was right. And I think what happened—
I'm going to do what I thought was right. TFI, not affiliative. Talking about doing the right thing here.
Was as time wore on, people are like, you know what? Florida's doing it right. We're thankful to be here. This guy saved my job. He saved my business. He kept my kid in school. And so I do think we had a
I
lot of
can
support.
go out to a beach. I can go to a restaurant. I don't have to wear a mask all the time. And there were no more deaths. There were fewer deaths.
Yeah,
than
so
New
we
York.
actually had, if you look at excess mortality, we were the lowest in the Sun Belt, and we were lower
TFI.
excess mortality than California and New York. And the thing—
Okay, that's enough for TFI there. Okay, so we're down to 4 types already with Ron DeSantis. That's going to be ESTJ, ENTJ, ISFP, and INFP, okay? Because he is TFI. Those are the TFI outcome types that's left.
About excess mortality is, yes, it includes COVID deaths, but the lockdowns caused other deaths too. And so the fact that people were free to make their own decisions here, overall, they were healthier, because it's not healthy to tell someone they should be in their home and not come out for weeks or months on end. You want to be out and about and be normal. And so I think from
Talking about what people want, that's NE, SINE.
mental health perspective, from an education perspective, obviously.
This guy's direct too. Direct. So those are now eliminated. Yeah. I'm just gonna hang it now. Okay. So we are down to 2 types now because Ron DeSantis is direct. He's choosing his role in the conversation. Very forceful. That's a byproduct of being direct, forceful.
From an
kinda
economic
like talking
perspective,
down.
we did so much better than a lot of the lockdown states.
But the media was loving Governor Cuomo and all over your case. CNN, Don Lemon.
Some governors are putting their own political gain ahead of children's lives. They want to protect kids, Governor. What do you want?
They want to protect kids, Governor. What do you want?
It's funny because Don Lemon, big critic always, the minute he could escape the New York lockdowns, where did they find him? They found him in South Florida. They found governors who locked down in Florida. Mayors in big cities would come down to Florida. So some of that, I think, was just a charade. But I think that's an interesting quote, because when we had kids in school, that's exactly what the critics were saying. They were saying we were putting the children at risk by having them in school because there was a virus that didn't cause them any significant risk. So the damage to the kids was locking them out of school. And now we've seen, now the people look back and they'll acknowledge the damage, but what they're trying to say, particularly in the corporate press, let's not cast blame, let's just move on, let's not do it. No, we need to cast blame. The people that wanted to lock the kids out of school
what people wanted, SINE.
were wrong. They did a lot of damage, and probably as much damage as policymakers have done in the modern history of this country. We stood against all of them, and we were right to do so.
Many
And we were right to do so. Affiliative, TFI.
states had mask mandates.
Yeah, we never mandated masks in the state of Florida. You had some local jurisdictions that did. So what I did, I used my clemency power to say, no penalties for wearing a mask or not. It's your choice. And so you actually had some
giving people choice. That's NE. Giving people choice. That's an NE perspective.
Local police departments that were going to fine people in like Miami for not wearing a mask. So we kneecap them with our clemency power, and then with the schools, we said it's a parent's choice whether they want to.
Talking about parents' choice. NE.
Send their kid with a mask or not. So we were able to overrule a lot of the school districts and let kids go to school mask free.
Great, but let me push back. I'm confused by how you do things. You want to prohibit masking requirements at businesses, all businesses. But if it's my business and I'm scared and I want to have that, why can't I?
Well, look, I think it's an issue with COVID. What was happening is you had some big corporations that were basically imposing a Fauciism,
Fauciism, T name,
mandates, mask mandates. And what we've had to say is, you know what? Your personal freedom to make these decisions in Florida is going to be respected. So we barred the vax mandates and said that's your choice. And
that's your NE choice. Okay, he's ESTJ. Let's keep going for a little bit.
The same thing with the mask. The mask, even Fauci's now admitted the mask. He said maybe 10% reduction. So some of it is irrational. And I think you just have to decide, yes, your business, you do have freedoms to choose, but so do individuals.
Freedoms to choose, NE.
So do you side with the individual or do you side with the corporation? And so on these biomedical issues in Florida, we've just consistently sided with the individual.
But it's my business. I have a candy store and I want to say you have to stand on your head to buy my candy.
Yeah, but I mean, you know businesses, there's certain business regulations that we all have to, everyone's got to abide by.
In terms of business regulations are systematic.
I'm just surprised you're pushing them.
Well, no, but I mean, some of it is just kind of standard workplace stuff. And so the issue is just as a customer, is that something that we want to support from the customers or not? And I
talking about what we want,
think part of it is we really view the biomedical regime. It's been one of the biggest threats to freedom in my lifetime, maybe the biggest in terms of how it was imposed. And I think had Florida not stood up against a lot of this, I think it would have been much worse across the country, and it likely would have persisted a lot longer. So sometimes you just got to say, okay, is this something that we want in our state at all?
We won't.
Or do we want to just say, let individuals be the ultimate arbiter of these decisions? And so that's how we've come down.
Likewise, school choice. Florida now leads on school choice. You have $8,000 that any parent can take to a private school. They can switch to another public school. Why is this good?
Well, ultimately, it empowers people, particularly low-income families and a lot of single mothers who are working but don't have enough money to necessarily send their kid to the school of their choice. And so you now have that ability in Florida. And we've had school choice for a while, but we've really expanded it. Here's why I think it's worked. The public schools have improved in Florida as a result of school choice. You think, well, wait a minute. You as a parent may be going out of the public school. How's the public school doing better? Because when they know
because of that.
Exactly. When they know the parents have empowerment to make a choice, they have to up their game because they want to attract students too. So if you look in school districts in Florida, most of the school districts offer intra-district school choice programs. So in a place like Miami-Dade, 70% of our students go to a school other than their neighborhood public school. Some of it's private scholarship, some of it's public charter schools, but even within the school district, they're going to magnet programs or specialty programs. And so I think what's happened, it's created a culture of competition where school districts, charter schools, and private schools compete for parents' basic approval. And they know that a parent's empowered. If you're not doing a good job, the parent actually has the ability to vote with their feet and send their kids somewhere else.
And competition does make us all better.
Absolutely. When you have a monopoly, what incentive do you have to offer new things or to innovate? You don't have any incentive to do that. In Florida, you do. And of course, the money follows the kid. So just from a financial perspective, the school district wants to attract as many people because if they don't, then they wouldn't have as much per student.
So again, if you believe in choice, why have a rule that says no school can require masks? If you have a bunch of scared parents who want that, why can't they?
Because it's irrational to force a kid to wear.
Who are you to decide it's irrational?
Because we've watched the science and we've watched it. And here's the thing. What happened with COVID was hysteria took over evidence-based analysis. And so when we saw the hysteria, to have these kids in masks that are 6 or 7 years old, nobody had ever said or proven that that was effective. It was just being done out of fear. And so our view is the policy shouldn't be based on fear. Now, parent wants to send their kid, and our Parents' Bill of Rights, they can do that, but it cannot be required for a student to do it. And I'll tell you,
I want people choices again.
When we said you couldn't mandate it, guess how many kids decided to keep wearing masks? Very few decided to do it. So if it was something that was so good, then how come 90% of them immediately ditched the mask? And here's the thing. We can argue about whether masks work. I don't think the cloth masks have proven to work. However, even if you think they work, you have to wear it properly. A first grader is not wearing this mask properly. It's crumpled in, it's this, it's that. And so we just had to say, no. And so I think we were right to do that. If a parent wants to send their kid with it, they're allowed to send their kid with it. It just can't be required of them by the government.
Immigration. What would you do about the border?
Well, I would immediately declare a national emergency.
Outcome. All right, we're done here. Ron DeSantis is an ESTJ. Okay, personality database did get this one correct. If you like the video, please subscribe and comment below celebrity you want type. But yeah, they got this one correct. ESTJs are initiating, they're concrete, they're systematic, they're affiliative, and direct outcome, TFINSINE. Okay, that's what the big old ESTJ is. Basically running the world. I told my friends he's essentially the white Obama that has a little bit of support from Trump's craziness.